Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. Welcome to another commentary video for League of Legends, this one featuring Karthus. This is a game that was taken from our Tuesday YouTube night. In fact, it was played just yesterday if you're watching this for the first time, and you can go watch it on my live stream if you'd rather see the live game commentary. This is the replay file from that game, and I'm going to commentate on it. I am playing in a team here alongside Ubertree, who's playing as Ashe, with Its Color, who's playing as Brand, with Machiavelli32, who's playing as Kale, and with SS Magus, who's playing as Nunu. Matched up against us is some of the people that are my good friends in League of Legends, but now playing on the other team. Speaker, who also goes by Sideberg and is playing as Ryze, Aponecat, who's playing as Soraka, Varus Nox, who's playing as Singed, Vendor, who's playing as Olaf, and Johnny Boy 1994, who's playing as Wukong. So we should be just about ready to get this game started. Johnny Boy had a very high ping for this game for whatever reason. You can see the 999 down there in the bottom corner. But hopefully the loading screen will be just about done and we'll be ready to get started. I want to talk a little bit about the matchup going into this match between the two teams. I knew that going into this game that as soon as I saw the startup screen that I would be matched up against Speaker in mid, so that we'll be having a Karthus against Ryze matchup in the middle lane, which is one that I have played before, but not too much recently. You don't see too many Karthus players, period, and Ryze has sort of fallen out of favor in the metagame, even though he's a pretty good champion. He did get nerfed a little bit, but he's still a relatively strong champion overall, even though nobody seems to play him anymore. Now, one thing that I also would like to point out while we're here at the beginning of the game is notice how I immediately buy and start heading out, and notice that on the other team, Speaker, Varus start doing the same thing. The rest of my team was very slow at buying and getting out of the fountain, which isn't a huge deal overall. It's not that big a deal if you're not level 1 team fighting, but none the same, you should generally try to buy quickly. You should know what item you're going to be purchasing when you're on the loading screen and be ready to purchase it quickly at the start. Just because if you spend a lot of time at the fountain, it gives the other team time to run into your jungle and get set up here. Like, let's say we all spend a full minute at the map fountain buying. That gives the enemy team time to run in, and then they could say camp this brush right here, and when your jungler runs up towards the blue buff, towards the golem buff, they might find that all 5 members of the enemy team are already in there. So anyway, the reason why you want to buy quickly, you want to get out on the field, you want to establish yourself in a position so that you can protect them from running into your jungler. Now again, it doesn't matter for this game. We could see from that clairvoyance that they are all grouped up around their blue buff, but it might in some games. Probably less likely to happen in solo queue, but it is possible. So just a little tip. Think about what item you're going to buy while you're on the loading screen. Figure out what you want to get. Purchase it quickly and get out on the playing field so you can get into positions to help your jungler get started. So for this game, our jungler is Magus, who's playing as Nunu. He started with cloth armor, a ward, and a health pot. That's because Nunu doesn't need a whole bunch of health pots to jungle. He doesn't have to start cloth armor either. You can also start Doran's Ring, but cloth armor, a good way to start too. Magus is going to start at Wolves, and then we're going to help him get started at the blue golem. You can see he just consumed the big wolf and then walked up here. So I'm here, I'm going to drop a Karthus lay waste, and there we go, right there on the golem, planting it before the golem spawns, since the golem always appears at 155 on the timer, and that'll help Magus get started. Anyway, the main matchup that I want to look at here is the matchup between Karthus and Ryze in the middle lane. I'm playing against my good friend Speaker, who is the person who first introduced me to League of Legends almost a year ago, and I guess about a year ago right now at this point in time. So the matchup between Karthus and Ryze, Karthus I believe has a little bit more range on his Qs than Ryze does on his own Qs, not 100% sure, pretty similar. The difference is, of course, that Karthus' Q, Lay Waste, is on a much shorter cooldown, but it's not an auto-hit target. That is, you have to place it. You can't just click on your opponent and have it hit them instantly. So that's one of the big differences. One of the other differences is Karthus is going to be doing the standard route of building ability power. Like most other mages. Ryze is a little bit different. Ryze builds mana as opposed to building ability power, so he's always a little bit strange, a little bit different. Ryze builds very tanky in this game. That is, the items that you use on Ryze to make him to itemize him also make him very tanky. So that's really the big advantage of Ryze. He's sort of a tanky mage. Is sort of the thing he has going for him. Right there, I had pushed up the tower, and then Vendor's Olaf came and came in behind me, but wasn't too worried about that. He was only level 2. If I looked like I was in real danger, I could have used my flash, but wasn't too worried, and indeed I was able to get back here safely. So right now, pretty even. We both have the same amount of minion kills. I think we're 8 to 8 right there. I pushed up the Speaker's tower, and then Vendor's Olaf came and ganked me, and forced me back a little bit, so I had to play a little bit more cautiously. Now, for Karthus, the way you protect yourself against enemy junglers is you use your wall, his Wall of Pain, on his W. The problem with this is that we have sort of a bad team comp against us because they have multiple champions who are not going to be affected very much by the slow on my Wall of Pain. First of all, we have, on their team, they have Olaf, who, when he pops his ultimate, can't be affected by crowd control, so that's really bad for me, and in fact, I was worried in this game about that. I was pretty worried about Olaf jungle ganks once he had his ultimate, especially if he has red buff. And then they also have Singed. You can see Varus is playing Singed up here in top lane. And Singed's ultimate also reduces the effect of crowd control on him, so he won't be affected very much by my wall either. So that was a little bit bad for me. But here in the laning phase, not that big of a deal. More something to keep in mind for later on. Anyway, right here, we're just harassing back and forth. I have the advantage here at lower levels because Speaker needs more points in his Rise Q, the Rise Overload. He needs more points to lower the cooldown. Right here at lower levels, Rise is pretty weak. It's probably the biggest reason why people stop playing Rise, is he was just weak at early levels. Rise gets very strong in a game that goes on for a long time. But here at the start of the game, like I said, he's relatively weak, and I can kind of, well, maybe not dominate this lane, but I can be in a very comfortable position in lane, harassing with my lay waste, that sort of thing, and just getting the farm. See, I think I'm a little bit ahead, yeah, a little bit ahead, 25 to 20, so nothing significant, but just a little bit ahead. And here, Speaker coming forward after me. Now, watch, he's going to come in here, drop his Rune Prison, I'm going to slow him with my wall, and right there, going to ignite, and Speaker's going to flash, I'm going to flash after him, and drop one more lay waste, and going to draw first blood there, which was a pretty well done kill, I would say. Speaker afterwards said he just didn't expect that the slow on the wall would affect him that much, so he was a little surprised, and I found that quite frequently happens. People don't expect just how much the movement speed reduction is with Wall of Pain, but in any case, that's what it is, 40% movement reduction even at level 1. This is the skill I usually level up last. Usually just put 1 point in it and find that that's normally enough, and then level it last. But some people, other players, Karthus players I've seen, like to level up the wall second after they get their Q, their lay waste. Karthus's Q is what does most of his damage. I like to level up his E, his Defile, which deals damage per second to units, to minions and champions around him. But again, judgment call, his wall is really, really good. Not as good against Olaf, like I said, because of the way Olaf's ultimate works, but really good in general. Anyway, we've both gone back to buy. Because I had the first blood, that meant that I was a little ahead. That means that I was able to pick up boots and a ward. Speaker has also, we've both gotten a tier as our first item. Tier, very important. You definitely want this as your first item on Rise, just because you need to start stacking up the max mana benefit. Rise's skills scale off of max mana, all except his E, his Spellflux. His other skills all scale off max mana, so you want to build lots and lots of mana when you're playing as Rise, and that's how you do more damage, by getting more mana. So Tier of the Goddess, first item, pretty much always on Rise. It allows you to start building up that max mana, and it will make you stronger for later in the game. Anyway, right now, I'm in a stronger position than Speaker, mostly due to the fact that I have these boots, also because, as I said, he needs more points in his Overload, which is where he gets most of his damage. Both Rise and Karthus kind of similar in some ways. They both do most of their damage based off their Q, although, like I said, with Karthus, it's a skill shot. With Rise, it's a targeted skill. But we both do most of our damage that way. So for right now, we're just harassing back and forth. We both picked up a lot of health pots because we're expecting harassment. I saw Speaker picked up the 3 health pots. I also picked up 3 in the lane. As Rise gets stronger, he'll be able to start targeting me with his overloads, with his Qs. And he'll be able to start doing a lot. He'll be able to start harassing me back in lane. But for right now, Speaker's just trying to survive. I have 47, he has 33. So I'm ahead at this point in time. I also had the first blood. But Speaker's hanging in there, holding around. Anyway, Magus is counter jungling. He's trying to steal some of the buffs from the enemy team. Their jungler is Vendor's Olaf, as I've mentioned before. So he's over there in their jungle. Nunu, one of the best at that. Nunu, not as good as he used to be. If people remember back to the DreamHack games, during the DreamHack games at the end of Season 1, Nunu was like the god of counter jungling. He was picked or banned in literally every single game. Not as strong anymore, but still pretty good. They nerfed the way his consume works. He's not as good at lower levels in particular, but still a perfectly valid jungler. It just feels as though everybody kind of stopped playing him because they got used to how strong he was before, and then kind of stopped playing him after he got nerfed a bit. Anyway, looks like Magus made his way out. Looks like he did get that blue, so nicely done there. Nice job counter jungling. Here, just trying to harass Speaker and make it harder for him to farm these minions, although he's actually doing a really nice job of getting them. Looks like he didn't get that last one, but otherwise doing a nice job. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, Magus went down here to try to gank, and looks like Vendor is going to come in and try to counter gank that. Right now, we actually have an Ashe and Kale bottom lane. We have Ubertree playing Ashe and We have Machiavelli playing Kale. Anyway, they're chasing Vendor here. Let's see what's going to happen. Looks like everybody's pretty safe on health. Cat, Soraka, and Johnny Boy's Wukong have come up here to help out. So I'm going to keep focus on this battle, but it looks like it ended inconclusively without too much happening. So anyway, right now I'm doing pretty decently in mid. The biggest issue is in top lane where Varus is playing as Singed. He has gotten his Catalyst. Varus has 36 minion kills. Its color has 27, so Varus is already ahead. And as Singed gets tankier and tankier, he's likely to get further and further ahead as this match goes on, just because that's sort of not really a great matchup for Brand. Brand doesn't really have the same kind of sustain that Singed does, and Singed can just kind of run through harassment. It's not really that big of a deal between his passive and between having that Catalyst. He can absorb a lot of damage, and he won't really need to worry too much about that. Anyway, I'm going back to base right now. I was trying to think over what item to buy next at this point in time. Let's see, which item did I get here? Oh, I went back and picked up Sorcerer Shoes. The reason for that was I was worried about their Olaf player Vendor. He was about to hit level 6, and I wanted the extra movement speed because if he ganked me with his ultimate, that is if he ran out of the jungle and came after me, my wall wasn't really going to do anything. So I wanted that extra movement speed just to help out. And of course, Sorc Shoes giving me the extra magic penetration. That will take me to 29, I think. Where is it? Right there, 29 spell pen. So that will be enough to cut through all of the starting magic resist for most champs. In case you don't know, most champs start with 30 magic resist, and you don't get much magic resist when you level up. Or some champs do, but a lot of champs don't get any. Anyway, Vendor was trying to counter jungle Magus right here, so they both went into the jungle. I was coming up here to join in. So right now we have a fight going on here. 3 of us against 2 of them. Right here, going to turn on my Defile. Probably shouldn't have done that. Defile at level 2 doesn't really do that much. Doesn't do that much damage. Anyway, trying to chase after Varus. And right here, 330, that's not going to be too much health to finish him off. But while that was going on, I was able to get a kill on Vendor. I wasn't running after Vendor because I knew that we were going to be able to kill him anyway, just because I knew that my ultimate would finish him off. So went after Varus, but again, Varus was playing Singed in this game, and he's just too tanky. I needed to hit probably 2 more lay wastes to be able to kill him with my ultimate. Anyway, I did take a lot of damage from that fight, so notice what Speaker is doing now that he's leveled up some. Oh, right there, he's going to harass me with Overload. He flashed in, used Flash and Ignite, and that's going to be enough to get the kill. So very nicely done there. It was an aggressive flash. The Speaker saw that I had taken some harassment, so he flashed in, trapped me in his Rune Prison, then hit me with an Overload and used his Ignite, and that was enough to kill me. With the bad part about that was I actually had the 2 health pots. If I had a little bit more time in lane to drink those health pots, I would have been back up to full, and he wouldn't have been able to do that. But Speaker saw that I was low from that last fight, and correctly went in very aggressively. He did use his flash, but went in aggressively, was able to get the kill. And because Speaker has been sitting in this middle lane farming while I went up here to help, he now actually has a level advantage on me too. I'm only 9, and he just hit 10. So kudos to Speaker, and you can see he's pulled even with me in farm, whereas before I was a little bit ahead. Now we're even. So this matchup has really evened up now. 2 kills. I have 2 kills. Speaker has 1 kill, but we're pretty even overall. Not much difference there. Anyway, right up there in top lane, Varus has scored a kill on Its Color, his first kill in that matchup, and Varus is starting to pull ahead. Its Color still on 33 minion kills. Varus now on 60 minion kills, so that lane is starting to work against us up there in top. Anyway, trying to keep an eye on the other lanes. We saw their Soraka player, a Cat, was running around on the river, but we weren't able to turn that into anything, unfortunately. Now, here was a mistake made by our team. I decided I was going to try to come up here and get blue, or actually I thought I'd come up here and try to gank Varus, but Varus has this warded. You can see by the way he's running away as soon as he sees me, so know that he has that warded. Probably should have grabbed that farm at the tower once I decided to go up there. But in any case, he backed out there. Now, notice I decided, well, okay, I'm going to take this blue. Now, I came down here and notice that the 2 lizards are just there. This was a mistake made by Magus. Earlier, when we had that fight up here, if you remember, Magus took blue, but then after he took blue, he just ran up here into the fight, and then he never cleared those 2 lizards. So if I hadn't gone up there, our blue would not have reset itself. So just a mental note. I mean, yes, sure, sometimes you're going to get interrupted in the middle of the fight, and you won't be able to, clear the little lizards or something while you're making sure that they don't smite steal it or something. But once that happens, you need to go back and clear it, because otherwise the buff won't respawn, and that's a pretty big deal. Also, Machiavelli, I don't know why he was way up at the top of the map. I guess he was dropping wards, which is always a nice. But in the meantime, Ubertree was kind of by himself down there in bottom lane, which is never a good thing for your AD carry if you're playing AD carry plus support. I'm not a huge fan of Kale as a support. I just think that there are better options out there. I don't really like Kale in general right now in this game, but oh well. Anyway, right there was a gank from Vendor playing as Olaf, and he, together with Verisnox, the two Vs on our team, were able to score another kill. So its color is pretty much in a hopeless situation now. He's just too far behind. He can't lane against Singed. Like I said, it was a bit of a bad matchup to begin with, but now that he's died 3 times, he really can't lane up there anymore. So that's not good news for our team going forward. Anyway, Speaker came forward here, running through the running through my wall right there. He ignited me. So right here, I can't really take any more attacks. I can't even take an auto attack. So I'm just barely going to make it out of there. I probably should have flashed to be safe, but I held on to it. Made it out of there with about 60 health left, and that was with me drinking a health potion. So if I didn't drink that, probably would not have made it out. Anyway, Speaker picked up a No Magic Mantle, a nice choice there to reduce the damage that I do to him. That's a large reason why he won that fight. I think that he has also gotten to the point where he starts to be stronger than me in lane just because of the way that his Q is on such a short cooldown, and with its auto target ability, it makes it easy for him to hit me, whereas I have to hit him with a skill shot. So I would say he has the advantage right now in lane, in part also due to the fact that, notice how he has 73 magic resist, I only have 30. That's a big difference. He takes 42% reduced magic damage, I take 23%. So my damage is almost cut in half against him. So like I said, a big deal. I'm not building Merc Treads in this game. So I believe that Speaker is building Merc Treads, so I'm not going to go the Merc Tread routes in this game. I'm going to be going the Sork Shoes route. Already bought that. But when I saw Speaker going for, when I saw that Speaker picked up those items, I decided to change my own itemization a little bit. If you remember, I picked up a Blasting Wand earlier. That's because I was thinking of building it into Death Cap. But after Speaker comboed me down so easily earlier in the game, I decided I need more health if I'm going to do this matchup. I need more health to survive. So I decided I'll turn that Blasting Wand into a Rod of Ages instead, because I'm going to need the extra health, or I'm just going to die too easily in this lane. So I decided to go for the Rod of Ages next, and that's why I'm getting the Catalyst right here. So Catalyst is going to be my next item. That's me changing up what item I'm going to build like halfway through the game. And that was a reaction to what was going on in the game. I figured that Rod of Ages would benefit me more, just in terms of the survivability. Anyway, we exchanged some harass back there. I finally managed to get off a little bit of a nice combo against Speaker there earlier. Was able to get in some harass. Meanwhile, down here in bottom lane, we were able to get a kill on Wukong. I didn't see exactly how that happened. I don't know. Probably led with an arrow. Not 100% sure. I see that Ash arrow is down, but probably did something there. In any case, wouldn't have been able to see the health bars anyway. But Speaker right now is out of health pot, so I have the advantage here. But right there, Vendor's going to come in, going to gank me. I am going to use my wall to protect me along with a flash there, but I'm just taking too much damage. They're diving me beyond the tower. Of course, I can pop on my ultimate, and this is going to work out pretty good for me. I'm going to get a kill on Vendor. So we're going to go 1 for 1, which is about as good as I can expect there. I did make it back to the safety of my tower. Vendor dove way past safety, so he was able to kill me, but he had to die to do it, and I nearly took down Speaker as well. If I was a little bit stronger, I would have been able to take him down if I had a little bit more ability power. So not enough there. It's unfortunate we didn't have anyone in a position to counter gank that. We probably could have turned that into a double kill, but unfortunately nobody was around there, and we weren't able to do anything. So Speaker going to go back to base. So unfortunately, like I said, did die there. I don't think that I could have avoided that without dying. I would have needed a ward over here, down here in bottom lane, which in order to see Vendor coming, which I didn't have. I actually had a ward up here earlier, but I didn't have one to the bottom, so was not able to get visibility on that gank incoming. And like I said, Olaf with red, well, I actually don't think that Vendor had red there, but like I said, Olaf, when he pops his ult, can just run through crowd control, so my wall not going to be doing that much to slow him down. Anyway, up there, nice gank, probably one of the better ganks that Magus had in this game, able to come in and get a kill on Verisnox. I saw an ignite going in there, so that will help out its color a lot. He's still losing this lane 62 to 94, but that kill should help him out quite a bit. in terms of how to play this lane. Anyway, over here, I saw them doing dragon, so I came in here to try to interfere with that, to try to stop them. Here comes our bottom lane, so it looks like we're going to have a fight here for dragon. Going to come in here. Now, we don't have our jungler here, so we're not going to be able to smite this, but right now, I'm just focusing on trying to kill the members of the team. Right here, oh, the dragon's on like 10 life. They are actually going to take that right there. Their Soraka actually took it. My understanding is Aponcat was able to steal the dragon with his silence, but so we were able to take 2 kills and they took dragon. A little unfortunate. Like I said, Magus came in. I guess Magus came into the fight a little bit late. So in any case, we were not able to get that dragon, unfortunately. Anyway, right there, I'm going to use my wall to slow Varus. He's going to toss down his goo. Can I run away from this? This is when it's nice to have those early level 2 boots. So yes, I am going to make it out. Anyway, we traded 2 kills for a dragon, so that's a pretty even exchange. Generally, that's considered to be an even exchange. And then meanwhile, while that was going on, Speaker went to top lane, and he killed its color, so he was able to score another kill. And he was able to pick up a lot of farm in that tower. So overall, didn't really work out that well for us, if you include what happened in top lane. Now, that top tower was almost dead anyway, but still, nonetheless, not too good to be losing that tower. Anyway, Magus taking a little harass here, but he should be okay, hopefully. I'm clearing the blue buff right here. Anyway, can't see the health bars here, but I think that, let's see, it's not updating over here on the side of the screen either, but right there, there's the goo. Now Varus going to toss Magus, and let's see, again, wish I could see how much damage. There we go. So, okay, Magus not in too much trouble here. Looks like he's alright, at least for the moment. And now that I picked up my blue, I'm going to head back here and try to help out this lane. Anyway, Karthus blue, very important to put on him just so you can run your defile more often. When Karthus doesn't have blue, he can't keep running his defiles. It makes you much weaker in team fights when you're not able to run that. Anyway, Vendor is over there. We do spot him with our ward, so I know that he's there. Going to have to back off, going to have to play more cautiously. So I'm actually going to come down over here because we saw that Vendor was running into our jungle. We're going to try to cut him off. I believe we saw him over here somewhere. Yep, there it is. There's the hawk shot coming in from Uber Tree's Ash. So we saw him over here. Right here, Varus is going to run through the tower to pick me up, and right there I'm going to get rune prisoned, and that was one of my worst deaths of this whole game. Just a big mistake by me. Varus ran right over, tossed the goo down, picked me up, flung me back into the middle of their team, and then Speaker was there to burst me down with that rune prison. So huge mistake on my part. I should have used my flash. I should have just flashed as soon as it looked like I was going to get tossed. And then you can see with me not there, the rest of the team is not doing very well. They probably should have just backed and given up that tower. Instead, fed 2 more kills to the enemy team. Now they're pushing on the 2nd level tower. It's still a 4-on-1. Magus is just going to get bursted down. There's the toss. So now we've gone 0 for 4. And they're going to get at least 1 tower out of this. And let's see if they can manage to get this 2nd tower. This was a huge flipping point in terms of how this match went. Like I said, 4 kills and 2 towers is just a really big difference. And again, it was all set up by me making a mistake, not knowing to flash out when Varus came forward and was coming in after me. I missed on the wall placement too. If I had had the wall placement, it might have been better, but in any case, that was really bad on my part, and it set up that whole play, so that was my fault to the team. Anyway, I did manage to pick up Rod of Ages, so that's a nice sign. We also did get a kill in bottom lane. Uber Tree was able to score a kill on Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy is not having a great game thus far. He's 0-3, and I guess he's starting to build towards a Trinity Force, but he hasn't farmed all that well either. Uber Tree doing a nice job of keeping up in farm, 202 with 133. He is most in the game, which is very nice to see, so that's a good sign that we're going to have a farmed Ashe later on in the game. That's what we want to see. In any case, right now, after that last fight, we're just going to back off and look to, push lanes. I think we were going for this bottom tower here. It was about this point in time when I realized, wait a minute, we have 5 champions in bottom lane. This is really silly. Their team can go and do Baron if they want to, with us having 5 in bottom lane. So I decided I would recall and I would go get this minion wave that was pushing top. You never want to have all of your champions in one lane this early in the game. It's just a little bit silly, generally speaking. You miss out on too much gold, too much experience. So that's why I'm going to went back to base, and I should be able to make it here in time when this big minion wave before this big minion wave hits our tower. Anyway, rest of the team hanging out down here in bottom lane. Looks like there might be some kind of team fight there. We'll have to see. In the meantime, I am getting a lot of delicious gold up here. One thing Karthus does really well is clear minion waves. You turn on your defile, and let's see, I do about 120, 130 magic damage per second when I have that running, so minion waves go down really fast. Anyway, over here, it looks like our team is going in and engaging on Vendor right there. Let's see if they're going to be able to finish him off. He has popped his ultimate, so he can't be slowed, but there we go. It's Color going to get that kill. Nice job. Johnny Boy, I don't know what he's doing here. I'm going to use my ultimate to help them out in this fight here. There's the extra damage, and right there you can see Speaker getting very low. There we go. So no one going to die on our team there. Meanwhile, Varus is up here in top lane. Varus has taken our blue buff, which is a very nice play on his part, and doing a nice job of controlling that blue. Again, they don't want... Their team has a big incentive to make sure that I don't get that blue. So, for instance, if I had the blue right now, I could be spamming my Defile. I could be running Lay Waste and not worrying about it that much. But without having that blue buff, I have to be a little bit more careful about how I engage. Anyway, Varus getting very farmed. He has Crystal Scepter, has Rylai's. He has 132 minion kills. I am ahead of him. I do have most in the game, which is a nice sign for our team. But nonetheless, a Singe that's this tanky is not too good already in this position. He's already in a kind of in a position where we can't really kill Varus. I mean, even though he's super far away from the rest of his team, he's just not really in that much danger. He can pop on his ultimate, or he can pop on Ghost anytime, and he'll be relatively safe against what we can do. There I go. I went over here. I just wanted to check to make sure that they had in fact taken our blue, and yes, they did. Anyway, Johnny Boy is down here. It looks like he is going to be safe there. It looks like there was a little bit of an engage. Clearing wolves. Now going to head back to mid. Speaker has picked up a Banshee's Veil, which is a very nice purchase against our champion lineup, against a team that has Ashe. You know, our best initiation is with Ashe Arrow, so having Banshee's Veil is a pretty big deal there. Anyway, Speaker's going to flash in here on me, again playing very aggressively. Right there, I accidentally misclicked on my flash, which was a huge mistake. Instead of flashing backwards, I went towards the enemy team, and Vendor came in and killed me. And I was pretty frustrated about that when I was playing this live, just because apparently I misclicked. I did not mean to use my flash in that direction. Kind of flashed towards them. Would have been able to escape in 100% perfect safety, and instead I ended up dying and handed yet another kill to their team. So not my best game by any means. Too many mistaken plays. I mean, I have made some good plays at times in this game, but that was a really unnecessary death there to take. And it all came about as a result of misclicking with flash, flashing in the wrong direction. And aside from that, my flash is down. Otherwise, it would have been not that big a deal. I mean, Speaker flashed in. I think I could have escaped. At worst, I would have used my own flash, so just exchange a flash for a flash, but instead ended up dying. Anyway, right there, it's Color escaping. That was actually a pretty good flash there. He would have been picked up and tossed by Varus. Otherwise, would have been in a lot of danger. Anyway, Uber Tree is pushing down there, so he can push on that bottom tower. The rest of us will try to defend this. This is actually a pretty good situation for our team. This tower is pretty strong. Their team's not in good enough shape just to run through turrets, but it's Color, going to get rune prisoned, going to be in a lot of trouble. I thought he was dead, but he actually made it out of there due to the Kale ultimate. Meanwhile, Varus getting a little over-aggressive. Even with Singed, you can't get that aggressive. So he ran deep into our team, and we burst him down pretty easily. So we exchanged 1 kill for 1 kill. Uber Tree really wasn't pushing hard enough down here in bottom lane. Like, when everybody's up here on top like that, and it's kind of a free tower, I think he should have pushed this lane a little bit harder and looked to see if he could get that tower. But as it turns out, Johnny Boy's back down there. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get anything. Anyway, right here, a Pwn Cat does have an Oracle, going to clear that ward. I believe that they stole our blue again. Meanwhile, Uber Tree was able to get a kill down here. Looks like he didn't even need to use his ultimate. That indicator saying it's still up. So, yep, they took our blue buff again, doing a great job of denying it. They took the blue buff and gave it to Speaker. So now they'll be able to run double blue buffs, one on Speaker, one on somebody else on their team. The one good thing is, while all that was going on, Uber Tree is going to take this tower. Looks like Johnny Boy's saying he has some lag issues, perhaps. I guess that would explain it, perhaps. But in any case, we are going to get that tower. Meanwhile, over here, they were trying to clear this ward that somebody on our team dropped in Baron. Weren't able to do that. This is kind of a buggy thing. If you drop a ward inside Baron, it's very difficult to target it. And you can see Vendor even saying cheater right there. So anyway, we are going to clear their ward. Magus has picked up an Oracle, so just clearing ward for ward. Overall, their team is definitely in better shape right now. They took the first Dragon. Even though it's 12-12 in kills, they took the first Dragon. I believe that we're probably going to take this next Dragon as well, just because we haven't had vision on it for quite some time. It's usually an indicator that the other team has taken dragons. But anyway, we'll see. Not 100% sure. I think they've taken that. In terms of towers, we only have 1 tower down. Well, they have 3 down. They have both middle turrets down and then the one in top. So that's a lot of global gold overall. When you have that many towers down, it makes a pretty big difference. Anyway, I'm still trying to get farm. The thing we have going for us is Ubertree and myself do have the most minion kills in the game between the two of us. Their Sullla's also keeping up pretty well, but not quite as high. And then It's Color doing an okay job. He's hanging in there. Johnny Boy a lot lower. In terms of junglers, Magus is also ahead of Vendor. The difference, though, is Aponecat has been taking farm. You can see he's at 73. He has not been playing pure support. He's actually been taking a lot of minion kills as Soraka there. So in that respect, if you count the farm that Soraka's getting, then they actually are probably even with us. But otherwise, we're ahead. Anyway, right there, the dragon is up. I guess I was wrong. It looks like they didn't take that dragon, so we are looking to fight for this. I believe we have everybody over here. The one problem was I was separated from the rest of the team, so this was not a good position for me to be in. I'm trying to get over here and regroup with the rest of our team so that we can get ready for this fight. We definitely want to be together. We don't want to be split up for this engage. Anyway, they've clairvoyanced us. Johnny Boy, I'm not really sure what he's doing here. He just runs into the middle of our team there. No one stunned him for whatever reason. I'm not sure why that was. Anyway, doing a lot of damage, but that Soraka ult really did a lot to help their team. And Johnny Boy's suicide charge actually apparently did do a lot of damage to us. Like I said, again, it's unfortunate that nobody just stunned him in the middle of that fight. So in any case, they actually came out ahead, even though I do think that was a really bad engage. They did, in fact, come out ahead there, though. Anyway, right here, Speaker behind the tower, going to look to engage on him. Again, we weren't able to get any kind of stun on him, even though he was right next to our tower, which is unfortunate. Probably should have used my Ignite on him. I think I was trying to, and I just misclicked there. In any case, with two of us dead, we really can't fight for this dragon, so we're just going to have to give that up to them. I'm going to go back to base to purchase, and in fact, I wanted to head to top lane, and yep, there they are, they're doing it, but we really couldn't come out and challenge that, not when two of our team was dead, and they had four of their champs up. It would have been a bad fight to go and engage, so just had to give that one up. I was racing back to base also so I could get up here to top lane and farm this wave before it did too much damage to our turret. Want to get that gold. Also don't want to let that minion wave hit our tower and do a lot of damage to it, so had to get back here to deal with that. Again, one of the advantages of Singe keeps those lanes pushed. Varus is doing a nice job of keeping top lane pushed throughout this match. Still, overall, it's still anyone's game to win. I would say their team is ahead, but not enormously so. Overall, Ubertree is still in a good position, although I'm not sure what he's building here. Anyway, Varus was coming out after me here, so I'm going to try to do a little bit of a juke on him here. He's going to throw me, but fling me in the wrong direction. There's the goo. I'm not in too much danger here. Meanwhile, here comes the rest of my team. Ash Arrow coming up, not going to hit anything, but the rest of my team coming out here, going to try to help out here. I'm going to go in, and now we're going to look to counter gank on Varus Nox, see if we can get up here. There's the wall to slow. We're going to see if we can chase him down. Are we going to be able to finish him off? Nope, doesn't look like it. Aponecat's going to make it here. Going to help him out. And now the rest of their team is surely going to be coming, so we want to back off here. You don't want to all run after Singed, get yourselves in a bad situation, taking poison damage all the while. So, fortunately, I was able to escape there. When I was caught out here in the open, away from any kind of tower, that was kind of a bad situation to be in, but I was able to get out of that. Didn't have to use my flash, so flash is still up here. And now we're going to look to put blue buff on me here, and I'm going to go back to base to buy and get death cap. Go back to base, buy, get death cap after this, and then we'll look to be ready for the next fight after that with both blue buff and death cap after that. So there I go. Anyway, their team right now, we weren't 100% sure where they were. We were worried about them doing Baron, but then we saw Johnny Boy over here. Johnny Boy is not with their team at all. He's just kind of running all around doing his own thing, but as it turns out, he is actually going to be able to push this tower, getting a little damage on it. Now, here is a mistake that our team makes. Notice how 3 people on our team all run after Johnny Boy. That's way too many, and I even said to the team, like, we can't have everybody run the bottom lane or we just give up a free Baron. So that's what I was trying to tell everybody else who was on TeamSpeak. Right here, Aponecat came forward a little aggressively, not able to engage on him. Vendor also in a very exposed position, but apparently we're not able to engage on him. I was hoping we could Ash Arrow him or something, but not able to. Oh, and there it is. There's the Ash Arrow coming in. So now here we are going to look to engage, but I get silenced by Aponecat, and that's really bad because I can't turn on my Defile. Wasn't able to turn on my Defile, and so he's just going to be able to make it out of there, no problems. Anyway, Machiavelli is going to get bursted right there by Speaker, and he's just going to go down immediately. He had his ultimate and didn't use it, so not the best play there. Got bursted down very fast. I think he said afterwards that he was just surprised by how much damage Speaker was doing, but Speaker is 9-2 in this game. He's doing a lot of damage. Speaker just flashed forward at me right there. And here, I'm going to back out right here. Oh, right there, Aponecat's going to fail his flash. So Speaker flashed forward aggressively, didn't get anything out of it. But while that was going on, Johnny Boy did take down that turret in bottom lane. Anyway, right here, trying to trap. I'd like to go in and engage on that wall, but I've just taken too much damage. If I go in on that, I'm probably going to get bursted down and killed, so I really don't have much choice except to head back to the base and just look to defend this. Looks like I'm going to go back and heal. Meanwhile, its color and Uber Tree are going to defend this, but while that's going on, they've left top lane. Unfortunately, we've been caught sort of in a rotation here. We've left top a little bit exposed, and while all that's going on, Vendor and Varus are going to push on this tower, and they're going to do a lot of damage to it before we can get out here. Right there, its color is... Oh, its color, it's going to do a nice job of going in there and initiating on Varus. Going to get a lot of damage right there. I'm going to ult in, hoping that it's enough, but nope, it's not going to be enough, and he's going to survive. Even with not that much health left. Anyway, I run up here. This was a bit of a mistake. Probably should have been down here defending against this push right here. Oh, right there. Yeah, looks like a Pwncat did use Soraka ult in order to save the Singe player right there. Meanwhile, though, right after Pwncat said too good, he came forward a little aggressively, and so I decided I was going to come after him, start chasing him down. There is all my lay waste. There's the Wish ultimate, but not going to be enough. And I'm going to be able to hunt him down and get that kill without too much trouble. Anyway, Vendor, not going to chase after me. Meanwhile, we were able to get a kill on Johnny Boy right there, too. So for the moment, we actually did kill 2 of them, and we probably should have looked to do something. The problem is we weren't in a position to counter push here. We have 2 champs way down here on bottom. If we were around top, we could have gone after Baron there and done it, but unfortunately, we weren't around Baron, so we couldn't turn that into a larger kill, couldn't turn that into a tower. Everybody was just too split up on the map, and their team's doing a great job of keeping these lanes pushed. If you notice, the minions are always on our side of the map, and that has a lot to do with what Varus is doing as Singed in this game. He's now picked up a Force of Nature, so he has a lot of magic resist. Let's see. Speaker also has Banshee's Veil. Let's see. On the rest of the team. The rest of the team doesn't have much magic resist, but Speaker and Varus have built a lot of magic resistance, and that's going to help defend them against me very, very well here. I'm probably doing the most damage on our team. Uber Tree is doing a lot of damage as well, but I don't know what he's building here after Zeal. I'm not exactly sure what item he's building next. So anyway, we are still in pretty good shape in this game, 15 to 15 kills overall, but they have more towers than us, and it feels like they're just sort of slowly pushing us out of this game. By losing those towers, we've just given up a lot of map control by the fact that we now have... Well, I guess we still only have... Let's see. Oh, no, we have 4 towers down, and we only have 1 of theirs down, which is a lot of map control. It's very easy for them to go in and raid our jungle, while we can't really do the same to them. We are getting some push up here in top lane, but we don't have a teleport or anything, and it looks like Johnny Boy's going to clear that without too much trouble. Now, we do have 5 champs here. We can look to fight, like, right now, because Johnny Boy is not with the rest of their team. This would be a great situation to Asher or somebody and look to engage, or go in on Speaker, but unfortunately, instead, Speaker is going to ambush Uber Tree. Looks like they had that worded. Speaker's going to ambush Uber Tree, and instead, they're going to kill Ash right at the start of the fight, and that's really bad news, because Ash does so much damage. Ash is doing so much of the damage for their team. Anyway, right now, Vendor is nearly dead, but not really in a position to finish him off. What I need to do here is flash over the wall in order to survive. I was sort of able to do that, but again, it's singed, and unfortunately, because it's singed, Varus can just run through that, and so this fight is going very, very poorly right now. You can see they've already killed 3 of us against only the loss of Vendor for their team, and our team was just sort of running away, hoping to make it out. Meanwhile, while that was going on, Johnny Boy not with them at all the whole time, which really isn't good play, but it turns out to work in their favor right now because he's going to be able to get that top tower while all this is going on. Anyway, the key to that fight was just the fact that Uber Tree died before the fight even started. So we really, really need his damage in this fight. I mean, he's a farmed Ash right now in this game. 200 minion kills with Infinity Edge. We just really needed that, and we didn't have it for that fight, unfortunately. That and some bad positioning. I got stuck in a bad position. I should have made sure I couldn't get chased down, but unfortunately against Singed, it can be really tough because he just runs through the Karthus Wall of Pain, and then you're very vulnerable. So not the best play on my part there, but like I said, it was just a bad fight from the start. Even though it was a 4-on-4, we really needed to have our Ash player, Uber Tree, in that fight, and he just got bursted down by Speaker before the fight even started. Again, it was 4-on-4. Johnny Boy wasn't with them. Johnny Boy's positioning not good. He really should have been with their team on that. They probably would have scored an ace if he'd been with them, but he was able to take down this tower. And once again, the game is just sort of slowly snowballing against us. Nobody's taken a Baron yet, but with so many towers down, we're just losing so much map control that we're just, like I said, sort of being snowballed slowly out of this match. We can still turn it around at this point in time. They only have 2 more kills than us, but they have a lot more global gold. They probably have taken another dragon over here. They got the first two. They probably have taken a third dragon just because we didn't have visibility over there. And dragon is getting really far away from our towers too, is sort of the other thing. You know, the dragon is still very close to this tower of theirs, but it's not really close to any of our towers because they've gotten taken down. So as your towers go down, it becomes harder and harder to go out away from your base and fight for those neutral buffs. So that's really being an issue for us right now. Anyway, I picked up blue buff. I am going for a Archangel Staff next because that will give me a lot of ability power. Really a bit of a tough call between that and Void Staff, but I figured that I would just go for the Archangel Staff because I already had the Tear and the Blasting Wand. So a bit of a tough call. It might have been better to get the Void Staff because some of their team, like Speaker, does have a lot of magic resist, and Varus has like a ridiculous amount, 181. So in any case, right now Johnny Boy backdooring again. Just all he's doing is just pushing lanes. He's never with the team. So really, we should look to team fight and just beat their team while Johnny Boy is not with them. But we have had some trouble coordinating and communicating in this game right now. Anyway, its color has gone down there, has gone down to fight against Johnny Boy right there. So not sure how low Johnny Boy is, can't really see. Meanwhile, the rest of their team is sort of faking a Baron here or making motions that they're going to go after Baron. We need to go in and try to interrupt this, try to stop this. So let's see, here we go. And right there, going to go in. But unfortunately, we get caught out of position here. I am taking a ton of damage. I get a nice Kale ultimate here, but unfortunately, I'm just going to get bursted down too quickly. And right there, going to use my ultimate, but is it going to be enough damage? And no, it's going to. Soraka is going to survive on 25 HP, and that was a pretty big deal because that means a Pwn Cat can continue healing. Anyway, there we go. Going to get that kill, but unfortunately, I got killed. Magus got killed. 4 members of our team going down. Was not a great engage for our team, unfortunately. Its color wasn't with us. You can see Machiavelli saying we should have waited for Brand. Maybe we should have, but felt like we needed to go in there. One of the problems was they baited us towards Baron, and I believe Speaker was hiding in this brush right here and was able to go in and engage on us. It was actually a very nice Kale ultimate from Machiavelli, but they just blew us up in that fight very easily and just turned into a bad fight for us. So even though, I mean, it wasn't total disaster, we did go 2 for 4, but it certainly wasn't a good fight. And now Varus is just going to run in here, just run after its color, continue tossing him, and doing a pretty good job of holding this, but the rest of the team's going to be up pretty soon, and their team probably should just go, excuse me, probably should just go do Baron off this, rather than try to push here. Varus is just so tanky, there's not a whole lot we can do. He has so much health regen with his Force of Nature and all that health. So not a whole lot we can do. Meanwhile, down here, Johnny Boy is once again not with their team. He's just pushing this lane by himself. It looks like Machiavelli is going to go and try to deal with that. Meanwhile, I am trying to clear this wave up top here along with Ubertree. Going to do our best to clear that. On that trip back, I picked up a Negatron Cloak. Just felt like I needed the extra magic resist. I was getting bursted down too quickly, even with my 2400 health, was just getting bursted down very quickly. Again, their team did not take Baron after that. Looks like they took too much damage in the fight to be able to go and do Baron. So we are just trying to prevent them from doing Baron. Meanwhile, Johnny Boy, again, not with their team, continuing to push down here. And it looks like Machiavelli is going to come back here and try to hold him there. It's just kind of funny. Johnny Boy's just kind of doing these kamikaze charges in bottom lane over and over again, never with the rest of the team, which might work if he had a teleport, but he doesn't have a teleport. Varus is the one who should be doing that since he has the teleport, but in any case, it was working for them just because they were beating us in all the team fights. Now, right here, again, is where our team makes a pretty big mistake, if I remember this game correctly. Baron is still up. We need to be ready to fight for a Baron. But look, every member of our team runs down the bottom lane to go fight Johnny Boy. And now we have 4 members of our team down in bottom lane, and their team sees that, and they're just going to use this as an opportunity to go do Baron. So they're going to give up. We're just going to give up a free Baron here. And there's really nothing we can do to stop it. We can't get up there in time. It's just terrible, terrible positioning on our team. Everybody ran bottom lane, and you can't do that, as I said earlier in this game myself. So again, too late. They're going to take Baron. It's way too late. You can't send 4 people to bottom lane when Baron is up there on the map. As soon as their team saw us doing that, they just ran and did Baron. If you noticed, I was over here. I was hanging around so we could be in position for a Baron fight, but nope, not going to be enough. Instead, we're just going to give up Baron for nothing, which is something you never want to do. And that was just going to put us further behind in this game in not a very good position, unfortunately. Anyway, right now, in terms of the team, Speaker and Varus are kind of carrying them. 13-3 on Speaker. Varus is 5-2. Right here, Speaker going to come forward. Going to come forward aggressively, trap them with the wall. I thought that would be a good time to go out and try to engage right here. So right there, going to go in after Speaker. I get a kill ultimate. I actually thought I was dead, which is why I started using my ultimate there. But a mistake, as it turns out, went too far away from our tower. As it turns out, it was a bad call on my part. We got sucked too far away from our tower. I thought it was a good opportunity to go in after Speaker, but as it turns out, not going to be enough. There is a nice toss by Varus. Is Ubertree going to make it out? No. He dies to poison on Singed. So 3 for 0 in their team's favor, and that was just a bad call on my part to go out and fight there. I thought that we got Speaker trapped, but we didn't have him trapped. Anyway, right here, more fighting at the tower. They are continuing to dive after our team. Magus going to go down there. Their team is actually diving pretty aggressively here. They really should just go back and do the towers. Anyway, Johnny Boy was not with the team again there for whatever reason. He was just off in the side lane. He did get a tower, but he really should be with the team. Every single fight is a 5-on-4 because he's never with them. He's gotten towers out of it, but really it should not have worked as well as it did, I guess is sort of the way I'm putting it. Really should have just stuck with the team. Anyway, we are going to come back to life, but at this point the damage has been done. It was a very bad fight over by the middle tower. I made a very poor call to go in, and at this point they now have double inhibs, and it's going to make it almost impossible to come back from being down by this much here in the game. Anyway, their team is sticking around. They're being pretty aggressive. They just need to back out here. They really should not be going in. They really should not be sticking around here at this point in time. They really should have left a while back, but as it turns out, they are going to make their way out of the base right now. And we have 2 inhibs down, which is really bad. That means it puts us extremely far behind in terms of map positioning. We did get a tower up here, but that's probably not going to help that much when we have 2 inhibitors down, and we're going to be stuck back defending our base for the immediate future. So when you're in a position like this in the game, when you're behind, your goal is just defend your base, hang back, try to wait for the enemy team to make mistakes. And there Johnny Boy does make a nice play there, is taking our blue buff to deny it to me again. If you notice, they've been denying blue to me over and over again, which has been a pretty big deal in some of these fights. I did run out of mana in a couple of these fights, so I wasn't able to keep running my Defile. Anyways, I was saying, when you're in this position, you want to back up, you want to try to defend your base. Basically, you're waiting for the enemy team to make some kind of a mistake. You can't really win at this point unless they make major errors on their part. Now, you will see this oftentimes in solo queue games. People just get overly aggressive when they get in this position. They'll start diving towers. In organized team games, it's a lot harder to do. Varus getting even more tanky. Varus has just built straight magic resist. He's just trying to counter me, basically. It doesn't look like he's afraid of our physical damage at all. Granted, with Brand and Karthus, we do a lot of magic damage, but Ubertree hasn't really built enough damage, I think. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing with this build. Anyway, right here, Varus came forward, was able to trap him with the wall. We're doing a lot of damage here. He is being slowed by Ubertree's Ash Arrows, but there comes the rest of the team, so we have to back off. And gonna have to back off. He has popped his ult, and he's just gonna fling me. So, having learned my lesson from earlier in the game, I am gonna burn Flash right there. If I hadn't used my Flash, he would have flung me. Probably would have died there. Anyway, up here, it's I saw Wukong up in top lane, yeah. So they're pushing into our base. They don't have their full team here, though, so this isn't really a good decision on their part. Like, see, here comes Vendor right here, charging into our base, trying to do a lot of damage. I have gone back and bought right here. So anyway, he can't be disabled, but nonetheless, he's still, like, super deep in our territory. So right there we go. Gonna get in a lot of damage right there. And right there, continuing to engage, continue to do damage, but they actually are going to kill Magus. I'm going to run back into the fountain, use my ult here just to get in what damage I can. Going to take Speaker a little bit lower. Anyway, Cat now belatedly coming into the fight. They have stuck around too long here, taken too much damage. Going to continue chasing after Varus here. There's Laywaste. Oh, I just need to hit him one more time, but nope, not going to make it out there. He is going to escape. I have already used my ultimate. Johnny Boy, though, just suiciding on this tower. I'm not sure if he realized how much damage I actually do. So, yeah, that's going to be a pretty easy kill. And then now going after Cat, can I chase him down here? Look at that heal, 500 health on a heal. And nope, he's going to flash over the wall. Nice flash there. Anyway, Speaker was continuing to push, so Speaker is a little bit out of position here. Probably should have left our base. Let's see if he can leave our base right now. Oh, looks like he's going to slip out of there. So we actually came out ahead in that fight. We got 2 kills on them, and they 2 for 1 there in our favor. Unfortunately, another tower went down. Okay, so we lost that tower. So even though we did win that fight, at this point it almost doesn't matter because they were able to, they can just suicide down our base. Anyway, Speaker is out of position here, so gonna catch him with the wall, gonna engage. Here comes everybody on our team, and is he gonna manage to burst down someone on our team? No, not going to be able to. So that was a full 5-on-1 there, and the Kale ultimate used. Reflecting just how far ahead Speaker is. 13. He was 13-3-11 before that, so we're not able to almost pentakill. No, well, not quite, but we were able to get that kill. That was Speaker just sticking around a little bit too long. So even though we lost this tower, which is bad, Speaker saying he needs a 7th item slot. He's maxed out his Rise build. Interesting they went for Mana Immune there. That's purely for the mana. It's not for the attack damage. You just want the extra mana there. Anyway, we're actually doing what we need to do here, which is just defend the base, wait for them to get overly aggressive, wait for them to make mistakes, which they have actually done a bit. They have actually kind of done that overall. So we're just hanging in there, waiting for our inhibs to respawn. You can see we've just gotten the message, going to get our inhibs back up soon. Varus is pushing on this one, but we should be able to hold it if people come over to defend. So our inhibs will respawn. Of course, the bad news is all of our towers are down, but in theory, we do still have a chance. Anyway, there is a nice initiation on Vendor, but he's going to be able to pop his ult, and as soon as he does that, he can't be disabled. So not going to be able to catch him. You can see I tried to use the wall, but it's not going to be enough. And here they really need to stop chasing. So I was like, guys, stop chasing. Anyway, I've nearly completed my build. I now do have the Void Staff, so I have as much Magic Pen as I can get, short of getting Abyssal Scepter, which I'm not going to pick up. Have 638 ability power. I do have a blue pot. Only real thing to get here is finish turning this into another item. I'm going to try to turn it into a Banshee's Veil, if I remember correctly, and then just keep potting. So I could also use a 7th item slot pretty soon. I've just about maxed out my Karthus build. 333 minion kills because we've gotten into super late game here. So overall, my build is in pretty good shape, but unfortunately a lot of the rest of our team is under farmed. Compared to their team because they've gotten so many global buffs. They could consider just backing out, waiting for Baron to spawn, and then coming in with Baron. Instead, they're pushing on this inhib, which has respawned. So anyway, we're going to look to go in here and engage right there. Unfortunately, that was the Wukong clone, I think. Anyway, Varus and Speaker are running around down here, looking to go in after me. There's going to toss its color. Let's see. There's the burst from Speaker. There he is. Speaker is going to get that kill as well. Speaker's getting nearly all of the kills here. Anyway, we are doing a lot of damage to Varus, who is not the one we want to focus, but at this point, it was more a case of getting him or getting no one, so that's what I was considering there. So anyway, right there, I'm going to get killed there. Speaker is going to finish me off, and we can see everybody taking a ton of damage. Down goes Machiavelli to another Rise Overload. So we actually went 1 for 3 there, which was not good at all. But better that than nothing. Anyway, right here, they're continuing to push. They're not going. I don't know if they're going to be able to get our base towers, but you can see taking down our inhibs. Where's Johnny Boy? Not with the rest of the team, of course. Again, just backdooring stuff while the rest of the team does all the fighting. In any case, Speaker is still in pretty good shape with that Will of the Ancients Frozen Heart. He has a ton of spell vamp along with his ultimate, so he can take a lot of damage and then get it back. Right there, there's the Rune Prison, and there's the burst. Going to take that down. Right here, Ubertree going to do a nice job of engaging, but I'm not sure if he can. Don't know if he's strong enough to 1v1 with Speaker or not. He did have Banshee's Veil, and it looks like it just popped there. Anyway, you can see we're not fighting that badly. We are losing these fights, but we're not getting... Well, most of the time we're not getting killed that much. The problem is just that they're ahead, and they're getting further ahead. They're continuing to snowball further and further ahead in this match. So once again there, even though they weren't able to get the Nexus turrets, they did get every inhib. Did get all 3 inhibs, and of course all our towers are down except the Nexus towers. So at this point, it's almost just sort of a matter of time until they're able to finish us off. We need for them to make more mistakes. They're not really making that many mistakes. They have been playing aggressively, probably overly aggressively, but not enough for us to spin this game around. And Speaker being 17-4. Varus and Vendor are doing a nice job of setting up Speaker, and then he's just getting all the kills. And then Aponcat has so much ability power. He's healing for just ridiculous amounts at this point. Every time he pops a heal, he heals for like 500 damage, and that's on about a 6 or 7 second cooldown. So just makes it very tough for us. Their team is much more tanky than we are. They have much more heal than we do. Our only heal is on Machiavelli's Kale, and he doesn't really have any ability power at all. So anyway, right here, there's the wall, and there I'm actually going to flash. If Speaker traps me in a Rune Prison, I'm dead. Can't afford to die. As soon as I die, the game's going to be over because I do the most damage on our team. Ubertree, even though he's got all this farm, I just kind of feel like he hasn't really itemized all that well. He's just not really doing that much damage. He really needs more armor penetration in order to do more damage. Anyway, Machiavelli going to get tossed right there. There's an ultimate, a nice kill ultimate right there. There's the arrow going in on Singed, not the one we want to go after here. But unfortunately, there's just only so much we can do. Look at that global heal. Soraka global heal, 1,000 health back to everybody on the team. And right now, everybody is just getting... everybody getting bursting down, and right now we're going to lose these towers right here. That's almost, more or less, going to be it. We can't even come out in order to fight and defend our own towers here. So really, we're just standing here. I was actually able to get a kill on a Pomecat there, but not going to be enough here. The minions are just finishing off the base. We're trying to get Vendor, but nope, he's going to be able to escape out of there, and that is it. They are going to finish off the Nexus, and that will be GG. So they got ahead, and they just stayed ahead. They sort of slowly snowballed us out of the game. Okay, here are the stats for the game. I'm sorry it's blurry. I realized that it's really blurred in this screenshot. I had to grab this off the live stream because I didn't take one while playing, so apologies for that. You are not going blind. It is in fact a blurry screenshot. I finished 13-8-4 overall. I was I guess reasonably happy with how I played. I made some nice plays at times. Also made some mistakes. I misused my flash a couple times. Died in several situations where I shouldn't have died. Also made a couple of bad calls on the team, encouraging us to go and fight in situations where we maybe should have just played defensively. So again, a mixture of good and bad. Wasn't the greatest game I've played. Wasn't the worst game I've played. I have played some bad games before. Farmed very well though. Got the 360 minion kills. Unfortunately, they did just have some champions that countered me pretty well. Like I said, Olaf and Singed are both champions that do a nice job of really messing with Karthus, and both Vendor and Varus did nice jobs of playing with them. Anyway, the rest of the team did okay overall, I think. I didn't really manage to get that many kills. Uber Tree was 349, its color 396. Our KL player 3610 and Magus 1613 there, and you can see the items I built. The support Kale thing I'm just not a big fan of overall. I just don't think that support Kale is really all that great. Its color had a lot of trouble in that laning match up top against Varus' Singed. I don't think it was a great matchup for him. Magus did a nice job of counter jungling early on, but I think that Nunu doesn't scale all that great into late game. I don't think he was all that effective in late game. I felt a bit like I was the only one really doing any damage at the end of the game. Maybe that was just me, but I kind of felt that way. Uber Tree, for whatever reason, even though he had the Infinity Edge, I just felt like he wasn't doing much damage. I think he needed some armor penetration. I think he needed to get Last Whisper in there at some point. And it just felt like for all his farm, I felt like he should have had more items than that, but I guess that's because he didn't have that many kills. On the other team, Speaker was fully itemized, was completely maxed out. He was super tanky as Rise and also did a ton of damage. He was 19-4-11 in that game, if you can't read it. So just had a really good game. I still think it was pretty even between the two of us during the laning phase, but after that, once the team fighting phase started, he just destroyed everybody. Varus had a really strong game. He just built super magic resist, and then we weren't really able to touch him that much. He finished 9-3-17, got off some really nice flings in a lot of those fights, and was just generally causing as much chaos as possible, as Singed is wont to do. A Ponecat did so much healing in that. You can see he has Archangels and Deathcap. He was a really farmed Soraka, and he healed like a truck at the end of the game, if that even makes sense. He was healing for like 600 on his normal heal, and then over 1,000 on his global heal. Excuse me. So he was really healing well. Johnny Boy, Vendor, I thought played well. I don't want to have too much more to say about that. Played a nice job there. Johnny Boy, though, on his part, was never with the team. Johnny Boy 07 in this game. Really, Johnny Boy, I know that you got towers, but you needed to be with the rest of the team. You were never with your team at any point in time, and that's not what you want to be doing in this match. Anyway, this video has gone on long enough. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This game was on the live stream. If you'd like to hear it with the original commentary, it's on my live stream, so feel free to check it out. There's a link underneath this. In any case, stick around, guys. Have more videos soon. Going to be another series up on the Button Mashers channel relatively soon, so check it out. Until then, take care and have fun.